conversation of empowerment and community. And I'm so excited to have these ladies with me who we have now formed our own sisterhood. So be prepared, be prepared. It's going down. So I'm going to allow each of them an opportunity to introduce themselves, and then we're going to dive right in. Hello there.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
My name's Robbie Banks. I am the Director of Community Impact at the Central Ohio Transit Authority, or CODA. A proud Columbus native, graduate of Franklin University, and in my previous roles I have spent a lot of time in Columbus-centric institutions, including the Columbus Chamber, Experience Columbus, the Columbus Partnership, City of Columbus, Leadership Columbus.
Yeah.
But I really love the idea of servant leadership and ensuring that our community is thinking forward to growing and being an equitable place for everyone. So happy to be here, and thanks to Dress for Success for inviting me.
Well, welcome.
Hi, Kate. Hi. Thank you so much for inviting me. Kate Bauer. I'm the Executive Director for Leadership Columbus. We focus on professional development and leadership development, focused on putting leaders, servant leaders back in the community to make Columbus a better place. Multiple programs for that. I've been in Columbus since I came here for college, so been on a couple boards, including Dress for Success, currently serving on Wexner Center for the Arts, and I'm excited to have this conversation.
Nice, welcome. Hi, Anna.
Hello, Anna Assis. I am the Director of Lending and Sales at ECDI. I have been originally from Dominican Republic, moved to Columbus 20 years ago. This is the month-versary, so excited about that. And what I do at ECDI is to help entrepreneurs and most business owners to get access to capital and technical assistance so they can take their dream to the next level, and also a connector. Love connecting people in the community and being part of it, and making sure that you are in the know of what's happening here.
Awesome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. And
Hi.
hi.
I'm Lolo. I am the Chief Executive Officer for the U. We've been around for about 5 years, serving small businesses, minority businesses. I'm like an advocate for all things small business, minority business, equity, diversity. I'm originally from Dayton, Ohio, and I love Columbus. I do serve on the board for Mansion Day School and Big Mac Led Youth. I'm the board chair for Mansion Day School. And I'm super excited to have this conversation. So thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for being here. It's gonna be fun. I mean, we already been having fun, and it's only 11:30. So, all right. So this question I'm gonna ask everyone, and staying true to what we do here at Dress for Success. If you are in the audience and you have a question for our panelists, please feel free to drop it in the chat, and we'll be sure to get to it. All right. So, how has sisterhood influenced your personal and professional growth? And we'll start with you.
Sisterhood has been part of me since I was born. I am the youngest of 6 kids. I'm fortunate to have 3 amazing sisters, all who live here in Columbus and have families. And so I'm real big on family, but I also have been very fortunate to acquire great friends throughout my journey professionally and personally. So not only do I have an amazing network of friends from childhood to now, including new relationships and friendships, but a lot of my friends I have acquired through the different places of employment I've been in. So in fact, like this morning I was connecting with one of my former coworkers over coffee, walking along the side of a mile. So just making time to connect with those folks that are in your corner and you want to support them in being in their corner. So it's very important to me personally and professionally.
Thank you for that. Kate?
Yeah, I think personally and professionally, for sisterhood, it's creating a safe space where you can come and be yourself and unload. There's not everybody at work, but there's some of those people that you know that you can go and that's your safe space, and same things for your friends, sharing things you may not be able to. And I think we spend so much of our time as women trying to show up and have this facade of being really set and perfect and polished. And so to have the safe spaces where you can step out of it and say, hey, I'm struggling with experiencing this. I think the other piece is showing up, which we talked a little bit about. Even as I was interviewing for this role with Leadership Columbus, I felt like I could call on my network and my sisterhood and say, hey, here's this question in the in the interview process. I'm not sure I know everything. Have you ever seen this before? And even if you haven't seen in months, we're like, let's go, let's get coffee, let me show you what I got, and I'm gonna help get you prepared and set you up. So it's just that extra mile too, I think, from a sisterhood perspective, than just saying like, yeah, you got this, and here's what I think. They're really gonna show up.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that.
Wow. Well, Sisterhood has been an intricate part and a crucial part of who I am today. And I said because you are the result of the five people you associate with. So I have always been very intentional when I'm doing a personal audit of who is adding value to my life and making sure that I am spending as much time as possible with those who I see that are we share a lot of the values, and even with those who we don't, so I can learn new things. And that's what it's all about, how you become better and how you grow as a person, and professionally as well. Very fortunate to have found an amazing tribe of women who support me, and I always add into that list, as I'm doing today, to continue.
Thank you.
Right, right. So the tribe it gets bigger and bigger. And I'll tell you this. The main thing about the sisterhood is when you see that we are bringing each other up. And then you know that it's not any competition, there's no any intimidation, that you know that there is genuine care, and it's part of your well-being. You need it. You need it to, and as I was sharing earlier, I'm very fortunate to say that I'm living my best life, and a big part of it is because of the friends that I have.
Yeah, I love that.
Yes.
Thank you.
I feel like she took mine.
I read mine too.
Like,
Learn something new today. My leader.
no, like like when I thought about sisterhood the second time around of us talking about this, I thought about like filling my cup. Like I feel like it fills
Yes.
my cup, and it makes it to where I do feel like I'm living my best life. Like depending upon the people that we surround ourselves with, it just makes life more fulfilling. So.
I agree with that. As someone that didn't have biological sisters growing up, just two brothers, shout out to them. But I learned at a very young age that I needed sisters. And so I'm fortunate to have my best friend still since fourth grade. We've been friends through it all. But then I have a connection of women. It's about 20 of us, and we are super close. And so, but when I was little, I didn't know what that looks like. So I wouldn't be the woman that I am today without those 20 women. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Can you share a story, Robbie? We'll start with you. Can you share a story where support from other women made a significant impact on your journey?
So many stories I could recall where women have made an impact on my journey. I will just go to um, most recently, really professionally, and me seeking opportunities to grow in my career. Um, I've always had women looking out for me. Not asking for it, not necessarily asking someone to be a mentor, to sponsor me, but I've been very, very fortunate to have that all throughout. I would say like the last 20 years. Um, More specifically, I don't want to call her out. Maybe I could. She's a pillar in the community, but someone that took me under their wing when I worked in the mayor's office of the city of Columbus under Mayor Coleman's administration. And she invited me to lunch. She was in a high level position and said, I really want to get to know you. I want to help you get to your next, because I know this is temporary for you. And so for her to have put that time and trust and faith in me and saying, how can I help you? And still to this day, I know I can reach out to her no matter how how many months have passed, and she will always be like that truth teller for me and that sounding board for me. And that's just one example of many that I can think of where I've been able to rely on someone just to you know, make sure that I'm being held accountable, that I'm thinking through things clearly, getting good advice, sound advice, and surrounding myself with people that, dare I say, are just much smarter than me. Because I need that. No matter how old or how experienced someone is, even younger than me, I know I can pull a lot from any woman, and learn. So.
Can I answer this
Absolutely.
real quick? Sorry, because I was just thinking about this. Because I think there can be small moments that you don't realize are happening behind the scenes, and this is where being truly authentic in your relationships with other women is really valuable. After I got this job, I was meeting with all the different board members, and one of them came to me and he said, "You know what?" He said, "Everybody was raving about you. They all knew you. I didn't know you." He goes, "But I knew you worked at Cover My Meds." He goes, "I know my friend Crystal worked there." So I called her up to really get the lowdown. And Crystal said, "Mark, she is the real deal." And I remember Crystal, and we worked on a couple of things, and it was just a really supportive relationship. I didn't see it as anything specifically special. You know, I said hi to her kids, asked how she was, but for her to come back around, and this is like 2 years later, and be like, "Nope, this woman is a real deal, and you got yourself a winner." And so that was the tipping point for him versus all these other things that had happened where other people knew me and gave me kudos, was this personal relationship with this woman that I knew authentically from my meds. You never know what relationship is going to be the one that's going to be a tipping point for you.
That you want to walk away from each encounter with a positive impact, right? Like, it's free to do.
Yeah.
It's free to leave a positive impact. So I love that.
Yeah.
I have a story to share too that I'm gonna put myself out there on
Let
this
yourself
one
out there.
because it just reminded me of a situation kind of similar to yours. It was very early in my career. I was saying I was under 25 at the time, and I had this amazing leader that I worked with, and she said, "Anna, you're ready for the next level." And I said, and she meant management. And I said, "I don't think so. I see what you do, and I don't think that's what I want to do." And I see the stress. I see the conference calls. I don't think I'm ready for that. And she said, "No, you are." But there was something else actually, and I didn't want to say it, but I trusted, and I said, "You know what?" So again, I said, "I'm from Dominican, so my first language is Spanish. I also speak Portuguese and a little bit of French. So I love languages, and I have an accent." And I told her, "I don't think I'm ready to get on a conference call when I have an accent." And she said, "What are you talking about?" And I said, "Well, they're gonna know that. I don't. My first language is not Spanish. It's not English." And she said, "But everyone loves that about you." I said, "Really?" So what I found myself to be a challenge, an obstacle, she made it turn into an asset. And actually, it is the thing that opens many doors for me. It is something that I embrace, and I make sure that I keep my accent because it is a conversation starter actually. And thankfully, because I believe in her as much as she believed in me, because I didn't have that strong belief and confidence, and she poured into me. I am where I am today, and we stay in touch after many, many years. And I just love her to death, and I thank her. So that's kind of the power in women supporting women, making sure that we're giving each other flowers, that we see the potential in others that they don't see it in themselves, which is kind of what dress does. So I'm telling you, go out there and find yourself. Her name is Ellen, and I call her Elena. Go find yourself your Elena.
I love that. Thank you for putting yourself out there. That was a great story to experience. Thank you for that. I love your accent.
It comes with many perks.
Well, Anna, we're going to stick with you and then Robbie as well for the next question. What strategies have you found effective in building a supportive community among women in your field?
Again, I think we talked about this earlier. It's not in a strategy, but we said it's just being who you are. Um, it's really hard to maintain a facade, or when it takes a lot of work and energy, and I think it's better to say that for other things. So stay true to your values, and you will attract and the people that you need to surround yourself with, because they will see it, and always trust in your gut feeling. And I tell you, I am able to walk in rooms and somehow read the room pretty quickly, and I tend to look for those who are isolated and just gravitate towards those, because they may need the one person to bring them up and let me introduce you to so and so, let me introduce you to so and so. So the strategy is always making sure that I wake up with the goal to put a smile on someone's face, to complimenting them, making sure that they feel good about themselves, and because they put effort to get out of bed, get the makeup on, or the hair done, or the outfit on. So why not give them that compliment? Because we are beautiful in our own way.
I wouldn't call it a strategy for me per se, but I would say just doing what you say you're going to do. Being accountable to yourself, I think is something that I pride myself in, and making sure that if I say I'm going to do something, follow through with it. And if I don't, then I better have a good explanation why, and own up to that, the reason why. So I think that's key to any relationship, building relationships, both old and new, and cultivating those relationships. You're not going to have many if you're not actually following through with what you say you're going to do. You're going to find yourself alone. So I think that's really key to any relationship, friendship.
I love that, because life is not meant to be lived alone, and everyone should be doing what they say they're going to do. So that, in true tradition to empower her, do what you say you're going to do. That's a nugget. Hopefully everybody tunes in. You're already doing that. Kate and Lolo, how do you balance competition and collaboration within your network of women?
I don't want to compete.
I love this collaboration. I feel like, I don't necessarily look at it as competition. I think that that's an unhealthy way to view sisterhood. And so when it comes to building my personal sisterhood, I think of it as we all collaborate. That should just be in the forefront. And if there's anything that comes up for me of feeling like this is even competition or envious, I immediately go to what am I feeling in myself that is making me view this person or view this as competition. And so I think that when it comes to sisterhood, there is no room. There's room for inspiration. There's room for us to be able to ask each other for help. There's room for us to be able to lift one another up. But there is no room for competition, especially if you want to have a healthy relationship. So that's where I'm at.
That's why you go first. Your answer is better than mine. Because I'm over here study, like, well, let me tell you. I said it earlier. I think you are in some rooms sometimes where you might not know it's a competition, or somebody else. And I think for that, one, recognizing that we don't always know what they're dealing with. And I think, sometimes, and again, in different rooms, different organizations, somebody might be operating out of space, like a place of fear, because they've had these different experiences. And so I said it earlier, I mean, you can still set boundaries and say, you know what, that's not somebody that, I know who they are and how they are, and I'm going to continue to work and just do what I do, because all I can show up is myself, as myself, as my authentic self, doing the work that I do. And then I said it earlier too, I'm not in the game of backstabbing. Like, I'll let karma, I'll let the universe take care of it. I know that it will, and I'm not in the business of trying to, compete, come back around for it. But I believe that, to your point, like, collaboration is key. And so it shouldn't be a competition. If you want to do it, and you want to do it well, and you want to do it right, it's working together to get that done. And the collaboration piece is gonna, there shouldn't be a competition. It should just be a drive to do the right thing and produce the best possible outcomes.
Yeah. And can I say one more things.
Absolutely.
You just prompt my thought process. See, the collaboration is like but what I want to say is when it comes to collaboration and competition within these friendships, it's like when you start to move into the competition realm, it feels like you're building in a silo. And it doesn't feel good. And when I think about sisterhood, what I said earlier was sisterhood makes me think about fulfillment. Like I feel fulfilled, it fills my cup, I feel happy. And sometimes that sisterhood may be professional. Sometimes that sisterhood may be strictly like you are like family. But in all of those spaces, I don't want to be alone. Like that's the point of it. And so if I'm in competition, then I am against building with you. And that doesn't feel good. Because if you win, I want to win too. The best way for me to win is if you win, then let me win with you. Let's not recreate the wheel. And so I know that, and just to be honest, since we all putting stuff out there, to be transparent, I know that there's times where all of us have felt, maybe a stinge of like, well, why isn't that me? Or why can't I have that? Or just a little inch of jealousy. And anytime that I feel that, I do self-reflection.
Absolutely.
Of like, okay, why am I feeling this way? What is it about me that is coming up? And immediately I don't act on those feelings. I think about how can I um, dive into that with my friend and the sister and whoever and have a good outcome from that.
I love that. Especially because we're all human and we're imperfect people. So those feelings absolutely come up, and we're not being honest with ourselves if we say, I've never, ever felt that. Right. And I love that you are able to self reflect and, like, what's going on with me that I'm feeling that way? Because I want everybody to win. Right. Especially my sisters. I never want to feel like I'm in a space where I don't want to see my sister win. So I love that. Thank you for sharing that, Lolo. All right, so Anna and Kate, what roles does mentorship play in fostering sisterhood and success? Anna?
Yeah. I think I said it earlier. Part of it is the safe space, and so I think mentorship is you find it in your friends, and they're going to be ones that show up like I talked about earlier with like not just coffee, but like, oh, here's what I did in my job, and here's like going the extra mile. But I think there's really value too, and I'm lucky enough for the first time ever to have an executive coach, and to have someone that's a little bit outside of what I've done and her experiences, and be able to unload on her some of the pieces, because I feel like as an executive director, I want to be very like polished professional, and I like to think that I have some self-reflection, but the questions that those mentors can pose to you, because you don't know what you don't know, and asking you questions that make you think, oh, I wasn't seeing it that way. I was so caught up in X, Y, Z. And I think the real value that a good mentor can give you is, yes, advice and yes, this, but it almost is that miniature like therapy role of making you look back on self-reflect, like, oh yeah, like that is what a good leader would do, but I was so mired in this that, and so that's why I think there's value too in having mentors that know you really well, but also somebody who's outside of that and is like can look at it objectively.
So the way I look at it is, in a way, as how can I become a better person and a better professional? So when you look up to other women or just someone who inspires you, right? And it's not that you want to become that person, but you want to probably take some takeaways on the way that they view life and the things that have worked. Because a mentor is the person who's trying to give you the cheat code, so you don't have to go to the hard road, right? And save some. Maybe the most important thing is time, and most importantly is to give you a different point of view. A lot of times when either professionally or personally you're going through a challenge and you are so focused on the problem that it's really really hard for that person to find the solution, so you get these blinders on and all you're seeing is the negativity or the problem. Well, that mentor or that person that you can bounce off ideas of is the one who's going to remove it and give you the full view. Have you thought about it this way? Have you tried this instead? And when you find individuals that are able to be very honest with you and provide that balanced feedback, and what I mean by balanced feedback is the person who's going to tell you the good and the bad, And because we a lot of us have those friends who are going to encourage you only. I'm ready to go do some buy stuff. Like, go ahead, do it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the person who's gonna tell you, I want to buy this. I said, yes, do
Yeah.
it. So you have you know who you're gonna call and ask for an opinion, right? But maybe you have a frugal friend who's like, I don't know, do you really need it? I'm not gonna call that person. So we have that's why you need that diverse group of individuals in your life that you know that you can go to for certain things and give you that purview of the problem. And then you say like, oh, maybe let me try it. So that's the importance of mentorship.
Love what you said about the mentor giving you the cheat code.
Yes.
I'm taking that. I'm also taking frugal friend. 'Cause I was like,
I'm not-
you called me up. I'll take you to buy it.
I'm gonna tell you to buy it every time, and I'm gonna take you shopping. I'm not gonna buy anything. I'm gonna tell you to get all the things.
Right. I'm telling you. Don't
I'm
call me.
sometimes the frugal friend. So I could be in our group. I could be the frugal
Okay.
friend.
We gonna-
I'm
we're
just
not
just
text
gonna tell you
Lolo.
how to put it together.
I'm gonna just keep my mouth closed. I'm always the person like, well, do you want my advice?
Yeah.
I asked her.
One time, that's it.
I mean, speaking of sisterhood, my cousin is not my sister, but she hates my personal style. So if I know I shouldn't buy something, I just call her. She'd be like, no, absolutely not. That's terrible.
But don't
So
you
I should
want-
not just, yeah, no, I mean, when I know I shouldn't, that's who I call.
My friends always like, did you have to just say it like that? I said, you asked. You want me to lie or tell the truth?
Thank you.
You
I'm
opened this
going
can
to
of
tell you the
worms.
truth. Once you ask, it's like, no, I hate it. It's not cute. Change it.
I do ask too. I'm like, okay, you want me to tell the truth? Okay, what tone do you want?
Yeah.
Like, am I being supportive no matter what? Or is this brutally honest?
For me, it's just the face I give. Do you want more than the face?
Yeah.
Because my face will say it all.
Yeah.
True.
You know. But
Same.
But if we all live by the golden rule, we're gonna treat others the way we wanna be treated. That's it.
I want the
Yes.
truth.
That's it.
I don't
I
know
want
who
the truth. I want the
Who came
truth.
up with this rule though?
I want the truth, though. I do want
Who?
it. I want the
This
truth.
rule is not
As hard as it-
realistic.
Who
As
made
much
that
as it
rule?
hurts.
Did we
As much
make
as
that
it hurts.
rule?
As much as it hurts. Yes, we want it.
All right. Again, as I mentioned, you can feel free to drop a question in the chat. We would love to hear from you. It looks like there's a question in the chat already. What if you are a woman that has always struggled to maintain healthy relationships with women? What can she do to change this and build a community of sisterhood? Come see us. Come see us.
It's your first
We
step.
are a circle of sisterhood. Come see us. But
I would say actually that's a really good, for real, seriously.
thank you. Thank you.
To say come see us because thinking about we're here in Dress for Success, and I wouldn't say I struggle with sisterhood because I always think I'm blessed to have great. I just for some reason I attract like the right people at the right time,
Agreed.
and people like me.
Very likable.
Thank you. But what I will say is there have been times though where I'm like I know that I need something in my life and I'm like okay this is where my social anxiety kicks in. I don't know how to do this, and it has always been going into places where I'm serving where I found the best people. And so you're like come here, no seriously, come here, volunteer. You will meet so many people here just from because this is the best place. No one is thinking about, no one's asking you, what do you do? You know, what you do for a living? You know, it's not that. It's really like, okay, it's really serving.
Yeah.
And I have met some of my best relationships in being in an environment where I'm serving.
I love that.
Well, because if you think about it, you already share a common value. And so I'm reading that question. They say always a struggle. I don't know. Maybe you should remove the word always.
Yeah.
It's very like permanent. You're like always really think about it. And I will challenge to the person to do some self-reflection, to think about what didn't work. What is it that I'm not able to maintain out of that healthy relationship? And I think that goes for every relationship, right? So I have an example of, I want to keep the names out, other person who's saying, I don't understand how come this person and this person and this person, this person does this to me. What's the common denominator?
Yeah.
You have 5 different individuals, totally different, but that feel this way about you.
Yeah.
Let's look at the man in the mirror,
Yeah.
right?
Self-reflection.
So self-reflection, and I'm not saying that just probably you need to know exactly what you're looking for to get out of, but most importantly, what are you looking to give? Because when you come into a relationship of giving without expecting to receive, it will go so much smoother. Because the expectation is, there's no expectations.
Yeah. And I love that you said remove always, because right, life and death is in the power of the tongue. So if I'm going into a new situation thinking that all of my relationships is a struggle with building a sisterhood, then it's already there. I've already built that mind frame around meeting Lolo before I even gave her a chance. So I'm thinking that it's going to fail. So it starts within me. I have to self-reflect and be open to say, Lolo's personality is so she has these hot pink pants on, and I'm already feeling her, right? Like this big bubbly smile. Let me give her a chance. And then I think that shifting that stinking thinking is important. So that's a great question.
And if it's always, I'm sorry,
No, you're good.
I'll say, you have an opportunity that right now at 12 or 10, you can start new.
Yeah.
Tomorrow you can start new. So don't get hung up on what happened because you can't change it unless somebody knows about the time machine. Let me know because I have exact date and month and date that I need to get back to. No, I say that day, but
We need to know about that on
but
camera.
we can get in that time machine, right? So what we can control is our present to hopefully impact the future and learn from the past. That's it. So, my friend, here's your new chance.
Yeah.
Right?
I love that. Thank you for asking that question.
I was just going to add real quick, at the risk of sounding like somebody's mom, there's also that really big value in just be yourself.
Yes.
And it sounds corny, but I mean, I went one time, I was invited to this women's dinner at a Columbus Club, and like it was all stuffy, and it was just all these really impressive women, and I was standing next to somebody else who's a really impressive woman, but she was kind of off to the side, and I just like ended up going, I go, I think I got invited by accident, and she goes, me too. And neither one of us had, but like I sat next to her at dinner, like we maintained a friendship after that, and you just don't know what's gonna like set it off, and like it was just me being like, you know what, I'm like, in this stuffy club, I'm just gonna be myself. And so yeah, the risk of sounding like your mom, like there's also really a lot of value in just being yourself.
That's true.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry.
That is so
Because not necessarily to the question, but to what you say, I want to also speak to women of color. Sometimes being in spaces, it feels like we are constantly second guessing being ourselves. And I think that it is so important for you to say that. And you are like, just be yourself. And you was like, I got invited by accident. And it's been plenty of places that I know that I'm qualified to be in, and I'm like, I still feel out of place. And I think it's beautiful though to know that someone, in your position, who you are, what you have done, and you're like, I felt like they invited me on accident. And so I think I just want to say, like, even for women of color, I know that's something that in our community we deal with a lot, of feeling like we are just out of place. Especially the more levels you go up, it feels like you see less and less of yourself, and it feels like I am not supposed to be here. And I think that there's a lot of people that are there who ain't supposed to be there. Who cares? As long as you show up as your authentic self, I think I've learned that people just love that. And the people who don't love it, they just have to get used to it. So
that's right.
I just
Good
wanted
job.
to
Good call
like
out.
that.
Good call out. Ooh. Come on, sisters. All right, it looks like we have another question from the audience. What's the best way to build sisterhood with a new person that you admire? Oh, I like that, Gretchen. Anybody want to dive into that? What's the best way to build sisterhood with a new person that you admire?
I would say finding commonalities with that person. So just being more curious about learning more about them than talking about yourself is definitely one way to start.
Yeah, I would say yes. If there's an opportunity where it's going to put you in the room with them, or it's going to put you, in a similar vein, like say yes when you can, set your boundaries, but yeah, say yes.
Well, to build sisterhood, because it's a deeper than just a friendship or an acquaintance,
Yeah.
right? That we're talking about. If you want to have that new person that you admire become sister to you, that means that you're gonna have to put a little effort, right? To make sure that you create the space that you are going to be able to connect at a different level. Not going into the imposter syndrome or intimidated because you admire this person. But you know what? Everybody, like I said, they like to have the compliments, and why not? I just want to learn about your story. What got you where you are? But also, more importantly, if you had a chance to go back to your younger self, what advice? Just things that will open the conversation for the person to let the guard down and yours. And that's when the true connection will kind of organically come up.
Yeah.
And then, if at the end of the meeting you get, let's do this again, you got a sister.
Yeah.
That's
Right?
That's
like a
exactly
date.
what came
Yeah.
to
Right?
mind.
Yeah, I was
Yes.
thinking like it's like dating.
It's a date, not a speed date though. Just a regular date.
Let's
And I
do
do
it
think
again.
it depends on if it's like professional or if you're really trying to build sisterhood. Because I've recently built like a professional relationship with someone that I admired, and it started off again from the place of serving. Like I had to, because this person, I'm like, okay, I've admired this person my whole life, and I want to work with this person. And so it started off, I had to serve, and through serving and showing up and doing what I said I was going to do, then organically a relationship was built. I didn't go in like, now we're good. Like I would say we're friends. I don't know if she would say we're friends. But I think we're friends. But now we can talk about a lot of things, and I call on her for anything I need. Vice versa. Like there's a trust that has been built, but it took time. It wasn't. I just started serving. It's like, okay, this is sisterhood. It was like small things when I'm serving, small openings for us to like have conversation.
Right.
And I'm asking, about her learning, and then she's, so it's just it's continuous, but it just depends on what realm of that sisterhood too.
Right.
I like the engagement piece and the serving and being seen and being your authentic self and being true to who you are and starting a conversation. If you admire somebody from afar and they never know, how could you build a sisterhood with them? So being seen and putting yourself out there, but still being true to who you are. So I love that question. There might be other questions, but we're gonna go to some more of mine. How can we create more inclusive, and then Robbie and Anna, how can we create more inclusive spaces that support diverse voices and experiences within our sisterhood?
I always take it upon myself to look around the space that I'm in, whether it's a table, at a table, in a meeting, an event. Think about who would have benefited from being here. Who could I bring with me next time? Who would enjoy this? And making sure you're intentional about inviting that person for the next opportunity, and preparing them, especially if it's someone that might be, younger or maybe is socially awkward or introverted. You want to help them along so that they don't feel anxious when you're putting them and introducing them to someone, and then just like turning around and talking to someone else. You want to step hand in hand with them or walk hand in hand with them. So I think it's always important to think about who is not at the table or in that space, and making sure that you let the organizer know in a tactful way. Have you considered, inviting someone like this from this background, or especially when it comes to speaking engagements. That's the one thing I hone in on. I always want to know who's going to be there. What's their background? Because think about the audience. If the audience there is diverse, then you need to make sure whoever's in front of them can relate to that audience. So that's kind of like the event planner in me, but also just when experiences, our background, and so much more. So that's very, very important, and it's glaringly obvious to me um, when there's a lack of diversity in a space, and I usually call it out.
Good for you.
Oh yeah.
Anna?
So piggyback of this room right here, loving this space, and you can feed off each other's energy. But I will challenge everyone to look into their own group. How diverse is your close group, right? Let's start there. Because once you have diversity in your group, it's when you're growing, you're learning, and then you can bring in those individuals because you have taken the time to get to know them. And most importantly, to learn their story. So instead of you, yeah, we talk about mentioning names in rooms where they're not present, that's great, but let's take it at next level and bring that person because nobody's gonna be able to tell your story better than yourself. Because you are the one who's gonna add the passion, right, to that conversation. And so let's allow that to happen by creating the room and bringing those that are diverse into that area. Um, Listen to the stories because everybody has an amazing story that makes them who they are and very unique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. That's good. Everybody has an amazing story.
Everybody has an amazing story.
Everybody.
Yes.
Drop that as a nugget. I love it.
And you know, we can make a Netflix, different seasons. We'll see how many seasons. And what season are you in right now?
Yes. Cool. What season are we in? We'll
What?
talk about that off camera. All right, let's go back to the chat questions and see what we have. How would you suggest women who have been burned by other women to overcome it and grow past the hurt? Ooh. Child.
I think it says more. I think it says in my heart, I'm like, that says more about them than it does
Yeah.
about me. And it is hard sometimes to set boundaries, especially if it's somebody that you trusted or were very close to, and you're like, oh my gosh, like that feels very different than the person that I thought that I had in my life that was supportive and was sister. And it is it's a hard one because, you know, again, I think it's just like looking back and saying like, it's a lot more about them than it is about me. And I think the other piece is a little bit of compassion to think about maybe why they feel like they have to act like that or what their story or their journey is. It doesn't mean you have to continue to engage, but I think there's a little compassion there too about why you would act that way and, you know, what it means for their personal story. And then you have to evaluate whether that's something you want in your life or not.
I agree 100% on that. But most importantly, there's a lesson in everything. So there's a lesson in the good, there's a lesson on the bad, and if it happened, so it means it's in the past. So what did you learn from that situation? And maybe is what you learn is what you're not going to do. That's the lesson there, right?
Yep.
That's right.
So I guess how you personally get past that is just, you know, give them grace, pray for them. That, you know, karma will take care on its own. I believe that we are going to attract what we put out. And if that person, you know, acted in an ill manners towards that person, you know, it will come back to them, unfortunately, right? But you continue to be true to yourself and actually say, you know what, I'm gonna do the complete opposite of what happened to me.
Yep.
I love that she said grant them grace, right? Because we expect it. We all fall short, right? And so, and I'm a firm believer that everyone's in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And so you have to categorize that. You know, that person, what was the reason that she left? Or that was just their season and it ended. It didn't end the way that I would have hoped that it ended, but it ended. And so what was the lesson in that, right? So she wasn't meant to go to that next level with you. And everybody is not meant for every chapter of your life. And you have to be okay with that. How they walked out, the hurt, that's a them problem, right? But you have to heal and grow from that, and just recognize the lesson in that. So yeah.
I also would say like move on, because it's so interesting because I feel like this is often talked about. Like people constantly bring it up of like, what do you do after you've been burned? I'm like, so I always ask like, well, how many times have you been burned?
Yeah.
Like once, twice. How many friends do you have? How many friends have you had in your lifetime? You've probably had at least 10 from grade school. And you're telling me that over the course of your whole life, what is stopping you and what is making you contemplate relationships is this one person.
Yeah.
It is like people get so stuck on, well, I was burned, I'm not going to trust anyone. How many people are currently in your life that did not burn you?
Right.
Like, just move on. And I'm also a Sagittarius, so it's very easy for me. But I do encourage people to, sometimes you just gotta like take it to the chin, like, oh, well, that didn't work out, or that they screwed me over, and then you keep it pushing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that, because that's true. That's true. All right, we're gonna keep going. What can organizations like Dress for Success Columbus continue to do to create environments that foster growth and sisterhood?
Continue to have stuff like this.
Continue to have conversations like this.
Mhm.
I agree.
And okay, last thing I'll say is a little soft plug for Dress for Success. And no, I do not work for the organization.
Come on, plug.
One thing I will say is every Dress for Success event that I've ever been to, every single one, there's always someone nice. I always meet nice people. They're always like, hey, oh my god, you're here. Like, it's just, they're so excited. Like, it does feel like sisterhood. And it could be someone who works here, someone who volunteers here. They're always having some great things to say.
Yeah.
Just keep doing the work. Like,
The energy is contagious.
it is.
And one thing, and I do work here, but it's the truth. we want every woman to win, and every woman is individualized. So we meet her where she is, and if it's in a space that she doesn't want to be in, we try to make sure that we don't leave her there. And so, yeah, thank you for that plug. Anybody else wanna?
I just say that to your point about the events that I have attended, and for the organization, continue to do more of. But most importantly is for those of you who are watching this or are part of the organization, be an advocate. Continue to, because still there's a lot of people that don't know about the organization and the work that you guys are doing. So I have my little Empower Her flower collection. So I'm always changing the colors and people ask about it, and that is the opportunity. I mean, something as simple as that, right? It opens the door for that conversation. And this may be the place where you will find that sisterhood, right? This is the topic. So starts by showing up.
Yes. Start
Yeah.
by showing up.
Awesome. I'll say, especially for Dress, as I've watched, Viva and the Queen team and everybody over the past few years, is staying relevant and also innovating and seeing the way that y'all have approached even the things that you've always done, but given a new sense of life and how we raise it to the next level. And I know the vision has long been all women, but Aviva and you all have really solidified that in terms of how we meet every single woman, no matter where they are. And so just continuing to watch it grow and watch y'all innovate, it's just been incredible. And I think we can all kind of take notes there. And even as we enter new spaces and nonprofits and understanding, like, how do we continue to innovate and realize that it's always changing. And, even you think about, pandemic times and Dress was like, you know what, we're gonna bring the clothes to you. You can't come to us. And so even small things like that, and thank goodness that's not what we're doing right now, but it will continue to evolve, or recognizing some of the barriers that women face and how do we overcome that. And I think, I've done just such great work in that space over the last few years.
Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that. Yeah, and we did not pay them to say those. All right, we have another question. We're just gonna keep the party rolling with the audience. How do you maintain a healthy work-life balance? Sometimes it's hard to find times to be social or catch up with family and friends. Shout out to Kiki, that's my daughter.
Wait a minute, she's dropping a hint here, like, 'cause my mom's been so busy.
I am cracking up.
That's a great question.
I don't look at it as yes always and wear many, many hats. Especially if you're engaged in the community and people are calling on you and asking you for things and advice. You want to be there for folks, but at the same time, you have to look out for, yourself and making sure that you're putting your oxygen mask on first. So I always think of it as a harmonious relationship instead of really balance.
Yeah, I'm a very social person. I like to go out, but sometimes it is too much. So there sometimes has to be an intentionality. And so I joked earlier today. I was like, what about we're doing later? And I was like, I have a new puzzle, and I am so excited for it. And so that is what I'm gonna do tonight. I'm like, I already got my puzzle board all out of the basement. I'm ready to go, but there's an intentionality there. I've been doing so much lately, and this is one night that I've set aside for myself, and so I'm gonna do that and fill my own cup because I'm gonna be with my kids this weekend, and I want to give them everything that I have. So I think it's just intentionality as well.
I don't think you will ever find that balance. So I know we like to use that phrase, but, and it's okay. It's okay not to have it balanced. But like you, I'm very social, so you have to make it intentional. And for me personally, what works is I make sure that that is my purpose. So when you have something to get you out of bed, it doesn't matter what the day's gonna throw because the goal is there, right? And for me is when I get up every day, which life am I going to be able to impact? Understanding that as it's mathematically impossible to be 100% at everything, right? So we cannot be 100% mom, employee, daughter, wife. You cannot be 100%. So you have to divide that percentage in pieces. But I decided long time ago that I have to choose one thing because at the end of the day, after you had a busy day and you're tired, your feet hurt, or your back, and many other parts of the body, because the older you get, the body reminds you of it, right? So how do you measure success? Because success is going to be measured through different ways. It doesn't have to be monetarily or through a recognition, certificate, whatever. But to me, I had to find something to get me going, right? Because in the environment that I'm in, I had to wait months or the end of the month or something to measure that. So I decided that I have to be intentional about where am I going to give my 100% every day. So today, this is my 100%. This is my 100%, and the reason behind it is because I am using my consciousness. We run off of our subconscious 94% of the time, where we get home and how did I get here, right? The car drove itself. I autopilot or something. So that's what it means when you're giving your 100 is because you're being creative. You're using that conscious part of your brain to make you help you make decisions, to make you be intentional, put emotion in it. So right now, you guys are getting my 100.
We appreciate your 100.
Thank you.
Yes.
I love that it's not balanced. Work-life balance, we need to stop saying that.
Yes.
It's just not realistic. It's always going to be, you're going to give 70% over here one time and only have 30% to show up on the other side. But being intentional is important. And spending time with family and friends should always be a priority because you have to replenish. And work is going to be there the next day. It's going to be there. So that's what I would say.
I seen this meme and it was like, we are saving PDFs, not lives. I was like, you know what? It's real good. Like, this is real.
That's real good. Because if something was to happen at work and tomorrow your family's going to still be there. The job might not, but your family and friends will be. Your circle, your sisterhood will be there for you. So work is going to be there. All right, we could have a conversation all day. We could keep going, especially since we have almost 100% right now.
You got my attention. You got my attention.
But I know that that's not realistic. So let's maybe 2 more questions. Let's see if we can do that. How do you maintain and nurture your connections with other women while managing a busy professional life, Kate?
Well, it's funny you asked that. Well, my aforementioned cousin, who I love dearly, just moved, and also I have two other best friends from high school across, one in Michigan, one up north. But ultimately, I saw this thing where these best friends moved far away from each other, and they just started sending either a couple pictures from their week or a picture a day. And so I have been doing that with my two best friends, and it's like, oh, I went to this concert last night, or I saw this flower sometimes. And so it's been this connection to their lives where the great thing about these friends are, no matter how much time we spend apart, once we're back together, it's that immediate connection. But knowing more and more about the day to day, or even seeing like pictures of their children that aren't these curated, like social whatever, has made me feel closer to them and let me be a little bit, share a little bit more with them about my life and current happenings. And so it's a small thing. You don't have to do it every day, so like there's not the pressure. But then there's also these joyful moments of like, oh, I haven't sent my picture today, and something really cute just happened. You're like, I can't wait to share this with these people that I love, and we're in this thing. So that's just a small thing that I've been doing that I really, really enjoy, especially again since they're not close to me. So yeah.
I love that. Now, if my circle of sisterhood is on here and I start sending pictures throughout the day, it's Kate's fault.
They might be like, look, limit yourself.
Right.
This is picture 17.
Right.
Well, I think it's like, we get so caught up in, we send memes, which by the way, I love that meme, and all these things to our friends all the time, but there's something really more intimate about like, I'm watching my brother's dog for the next 2 weeks, here's your dog in my kitchen, I'm going to send it to my friends, and like, that's very different than like what I'm trying to post on like, social media.
Absolutely.
So there's an intimacy there too.
Absolutely. I love that.
So what I do, I discovered my sixth love language, which is reels. So my friends know when Anna is on social media because that's my love language. They know. And then, it's usually like at night and then in the morning, and then I go on and do not disturb. In the morning, I see all the reply and the laugh and everything. So you know who you are. I you know what? It's the best interaction. We may not have conversations, but we for sure have a real relationship.
I have some real relationships.
They have a
real
term.
relationship.
They have a term for that now. Isn't it called like breadcrumbing, where they're like you leave it around for like your friends, and that's how you show care and like.
They also use the penguins and the rocks.
yes,
the
yes,
penguin
yes,
and the
that's
rocks.
right.
So yeah, that is my little rock.
Breadcrumbing.
The penguins, the
I'm
rocks.
not hip.
I'm
I definitely have
those friends, though.
relationships,
Yeah.
but the breadcrumbing and the penguin,
I'm
It's a
not
new one.
familiar, but
Look it up. Look it
off
up.
camera.
she said, look it up.
curious.
Look it up.
But I
Just
love the
send it
friends
in
that
the
send
group
the good
chat.
reels, and you get on there like they know me. Like when you send something over that just fits right, I'm like, she
Yes.
knows me.
But if you think about it, depending on what your feed is, which is again something that is going to nurture you, you get your funny ones. The algorithm can go many different ways, but you get your motivational stuff, and then sometimes you watch something and you send it to that friend, and they come back with a message like, "Oh my God, I so needed this today.
Yeah.
You know what? This is exactly what I needed to hear to kick my butt and get me off the the funk that I'm in." So you can inspire, motivate in different ways. Not necessarily have to be like, let's have coffee, let's have a glass of wine. Sometimes it's just that little nudge to make sure I see you or I miss you and you're on my mind.
Yep.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's what sisterhood is,
It
right?
is. Reels.
Okay, I want to say one thing though. Because y'all seem real social.
I am very social. I am very
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, very
I
social.
am not social. I'm like, dang, y'all make me feel like I'm a bad friend.
We're going to get you outside of that.
I don't want to be outside of it. And so,
It's okay.
what I was going to say is I think it's important to nurture yourself. Like, I feel like the best way to be able to, what was it, find balance when you have a busy life, I notice that I don't do well when I feel super stressed. And I don't want to be around other people because then I feel like I become needy. I'm looking for some fulfillment in the relationship. Like I need like some help, And so, and not saying I don't be around my friends when I'm stressed. Sometimes I just need to take a second. I am very much I prioritize the alone time first, and then going around other people of like, okay, how can I? And I do it in a way that makes me feel good. So like a ritual way. So every Sunday, I'm terrible at texting. I don't want to text. Every Sunday though, I do be intentional. What friend haven't I talked to? And then I give that friend a call. Like that's something that I personally do. I don't have to organize it with someone else because I might not keep that organized time frame. But yes, so
I like that.
that's my.
I haven't received a Sunday call yet.
Now you know.
It's a list, and if I see you, then that starts over. You start at the bottom.
Oh, okay.
If I see you in
Okay.
passive, I just
Check.
see you. You
Okay,
like,
now
okay,
I
cool,
know.
check that off.
Never gonna make the list. Never gonna make the call list.
I'm the opposite. Like I hate calling and talking on the phone. I'd rather
Really?
text. But anytime I'm thinking of someone, it's mostly like I'm driving or in the shower. That sounds TMI, but I'm like, oh, I'll just say, hey, how are you? I just get out really quick, do it through Siri, just let someone know they're on my mind. They cross my mind, checking in. That happens every single day. Just those little touch points to, let someone know you're thinking about them, and you never know.
But they text back.
It might not be right away, though. It might not be
And then
right
you
away.
gotta keep going.
You gotta keep
Really
going.
just get a quick little 2-3 minute call.
I love
man.
you.
I am old school. I want to hear your voice. I want to see you. I want to touch you. I want to make sure that you are well. And if I send you a text message and you give me the thumbs up, that is not. We're disconnecting. I don't even need to
It's
engage
my favorite
anymore.
response. Now through Outlook, I do that little thing all the time. Instead of saying
No.
thank you, like just
It's not. It's not saying thank you.
receive. Got it. Like I don't even say thank you.
I'm like, what does that
Got it.
mean?
I just do a thumbs
She's
up.
acknowledging.
Yeah, I'm acknowledging.
That's it.
I read your
I got you.
email.
I like
I
it.
know.
And I liked it. I got it, and I liked it.
I
love
literally said
it.
that to somebody this morning, like, I want them to do away with this emoji. And then she goes like, is this better?
Yeah. Then you're gonna
No,
get another.
no. All right. So this is for everyone, and we're going to close out with this question. Thank you for the audience engagement. Thank you for just this conversation. But we're going to start with Lolo and bring it this way. What advice would you give to someone looking to cultivate a strong sense of community and empowerment among women in their life?
Woo, that's a lot of pressure.
No pressure.
She values her alone time.
You were
So.
no Sunday.
Should I be the one starting this one off?
Yes. You are perfect.
But no, the advice that I would give is actually what you said earlier about just being authentic, being yourself, just showing up. I think that's the best thing. And I am a loner, so that probably is a typical answer for me, but I think it all starts with us.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you find ways to fill your own cup up and show up authentically in every room, then I think that makes all your relationships so much better because they feel effortless.
Effortless.
Let me make it simple. It's not about quantity, it's about quality. So you don't need to have a long list, but like I said, you need to have your key people in your life, your village, that will carry you through the good, the bad, and the ugly, and most importantly, the great, because they're going to celebrate with you. So just go out there, put yourself out there to find those individuals. It may take you time. It may take you a lot of effort because that means you're going to have to be vulnerable. That means you're going to have to put time to get out of the house perhaps sometimes, or respond to a text or whatever. But you know what? You got to do what you got to do, because once you find those, just stay true to those and stay in contact, because the worst thing is that you will start this relationship and then you ghost them. But those relationships also exist, because I am my best friend is we were in 4th grade and we're still today in touch, and that's it's hard to find. So not everybody's gonna make it through all the seasons of your life, right? But there are some that may stick around, and those are the ones that are your true ones. And you want someone to give your eulogy, right? So when you're not there, who's gonna say the stuff that you need them to say?
right.
And you gotta train them now on
That's
what they
right.
have to say.
Train them now.
Train them now.
I like that y'all keep saying about like the seasons of your life. I'm just trying to figure out what show I'm on, so I'm like you give. The intent that you give when you, even small interactions with different people, you don't know how that's going to grow, and it might be something that you didn't think would come back around, just like I had with that phone call, or I mean, you admire and like that person a lot, but maybe you haven't spoken, and I think if your intent and your authenticity is there, then that's going to come back to you. So you get what you give, and that's the way you should approach it.
I would also add that the gift of time is truly the best gift that you can give anyone. So just if someone needs something, it might not be at that immediate moment that you can devote your time, but make time, be intentional about carving out that time to show up for someone and be there, especially when they need it. And more importantly, when, you're proactive about offering that time. That's so valuable and can mean so much. And I've received notes from folks that I've met with over the years in various capacity that, just meeting with them for an hour, that meant so much to them, and a year later I might get a thank you note that's like, thank you for connecting me with so and so, that literally led to this, and I just want to thank you for your time. You just don't know what an impact that will have on a relationship or a friendship or anything. You may not ever see that person ever again, but that impact you can make is so amazing.
I love that. I do have one last question. It's simple. If you could describe where you are in sisterhood today, one word, or what you think about sisterhood, one word, what would it be? I won't call you first. Unless it's there.
Where I am personally, where I'm at within my sisterhood. Oh, I
One word.
one word.
I think I'm fulfilled.
Fulfilled.
Yes. I don't know, so thinking because it's hard. It's really hard to describe it. Accomplish.
Accomplish.
Yes.
Seen. I feel seen by the people that are really close to me, and that's really valuable, and that's part of being loved.
I would say valued.
I was gonna say that.
I love
Sorry.
that everybody here is
Say
like
that.
all happy. It's like positive girl vibes.
Just
saying.
I'm sure that was curated on purpose.
What's yours?
I was gonna say value, but I would say peace.
Peace.
Good.
That's a great way to end it.
Yes.
Peace for sure. This has been so good.
Yes.
This has been so good. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in to Empower Her virtual series. Thank you, Robbie, Kate, Anna, and Lolo, for just taking time out of your very busy schedules and being here and showing up and being transparent on camera with me. This has been live. Live. I hope that everyone that has tuned in was able to walk away with some nuggets. I know that I have, and that you empower yourself to strengthen your relationships amongst your sisterhood. And if you don't feel like you are connected, come to dress. Come to dress. Thank you. Have an amazing day, and we will see you August. It is not the fall yet. August 23rd and 24th.